You're about to take the 7th grade math Unit 0 test. If for any reason you need to pause, rewind, or fast forward, you may do so at any time. Number 1. David is baking for a party for his friends Travana, Amaya, Camille, Dustin, Aiden, and Isaiah. David bakes 10 brownies and he splits them equally among his friends. How many brownies does each friend get? 1 point for the correct number of brownies. Number 2. Between what consecutive whole numbers is the number of brownies that each friend gets? 1 point for the correct consecutive whole numbers. Three. Isaiah is dancing around the kitchen and 1/2 of a brownie falls off of his plate and onto the counter. How much brownie does he have left? 2 points for the correct number of brownies, 1 point for the incorrect number of brownies, but the correct equivalent fractions, numeric or model. 4. Aiden picks up the brownie that fell off of Isaiah's plate and puts it on his own plate. How much brownies does Aiden have now? 2 points for the correct number of brownies, 1 point for the incorrect number of brownies, but correct equivalent fractions, numeric or model. 5. Fredrana arrives late to David's party, and all the brownies are already gone. Don't worry, Fredrana, says David. I'll bake 5 more brownies, and you can have a 4th of them. I'll put the rest in the freezer. How many brownies does Fredrana get? How many brownies does David put in the freezer? 2 points for the correct number of brownies for Fredrana and for the freezer. 1 point for the correct number of brownies for one of Fredrana or the freezer. 6. The recipe David is using calls for 3/4 of a cup of butter. However, David only wants to make 1/3 as many brownies as the recipe makes, so he only uses 1/3 of the recommended amount of butter. How much butter does David need? 2 points for the correct amount of butter needed, 1 point for the correct model of butter recipe calls for, but incorrect amount of butter needed. 7. David needs 2 2/3 cup of sugar for his brownies. Unfortunately, David only has a 1/2 cup measurer. How many scoops of sugar will David need? 2 points for the correct amount of scoops, 1 point for the correct model of brownies, but incorrect number of scoops.